over here. Look at this guy. What a fucking asshole. Hey, oh my God, Aaron's got to see this. Oh man, where is he?
Aaron's dead, dude.
What? Are you kidding me? What a fucking asshole.
Hey there, Nick. Top of the morning to you.
Oh, no.
Nick.
No.
Nick, what the fuck?
We are not doing a Thanksgiving episode. We're doing a Halloween episode.
What?
Halloween.
What the fuck is this?
It's a pump. Jesus, dude, don't you remember?
Halloween. That's a good bit. You can't just have it be Halloween and make that a bit.
You can't just do that. Halloween's a specific day of the year.
No, Thanksgiving is the new Halloween. Watch, we'll call it something cool like,
Halloween 2?
No. All previous Halloweens are now banned.
Wouldn't that make it really confusing though? For people who are just now getting into the friend.
No! People want to watch it. Come on, let's do the Halloween bit, stupid.
You guys think I'm stupid?
I don't think you're smart.
Welcome to Stubtown. I'm one of your hosts, Brad Weber. Today, I'm joined by...
Taylor Rivers. Hello. Taylor Rivers. Hello.
And today we're going to talk about 2018's Halloween. Directed by not directed by John Carpenter.
No, not. Produced. He's one of the executive producers.
I don't know the director of this movie. It's John David Green or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one I know.
Yeah. And it was written by Danny McBride.
Correct.
And John Carpenter did the score, though.
Yes, he did. He did.
Okay.
Can't have a Halloween without John Carpenter's score.
Yeah. So Jamie Lee Curtis came back, and we did the whole thing. This is a sequel to the first Halloween. Without spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers, but it literally doesn't really connect to any of the movies in a way. It kind of stands on its own. You could go and watch this without watching any of them, and it would stand on its own. You don't even need to know prior information.
That's actually what I did. I've never seen another Halloween movie before this. I know the original movie. I know
the basis of it.
I know some of the kills and the scares. I know what's going on, but I'd never seen a Halloween movie before this, and you've seen
pretty much all of them.
All of them. So, initial impressions, what did you think of this movie?
Well, just based on the preview I had saw prior to watching it, I kind of expected it to not go in a way that made sense. If you watch any of the other movies, I kind of felt like they're making it just to kind of stand out from all the other ones. Initially, I didn't necessarily love it. I didn't hate it. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. Kind of went either way. It was a thriller. It was good for the target audience, I guess it was going for. But for anyone that thinks the franchise has any integrity, it didn't really uphold that, especially because Jamie came back. That was a huge thing for me because she was only in the original 3 or 4 movies, and after that she didn't come back, and she came back for H2O. So I expected, since she was coming back, I was oh, this must be something, this is a big deal. Even the fact that John Carpenter was involved again, because he stopped being involved after the first 4 films, I was this is gonna be a big deal, they're doing something.
Yeah, I remember seeing an interview or something with John Carpenter where he's if I'm coming back, we're gonna make this the best one, we're gonna do that.
And
yeah,
that's debatable.
Yeah,
that's highly debatable.
Watching it, I felt it was honestly kind of dull. I don't know, compared to other horror stuff right now. I'm not a huge horror guy. I can't really watch horror. I'm terrified of things because I'm a baby. But I found it just kind of dull. I don't think there was even that many kills or scares even.
There wasn't. He didn't even. Well, he did kill other people but he didn't, it wasn't a slasher film.
Yeah.
It was they were trying to tell a story to an audience that doesn't even know the story. That's kind of what it felt like. They were trying, it was an actual storyline, and it works best when there's no storyline. It works best when it's a true slasher film, and it's borderline. It's more fun to watch when someone's killing just to kill, and not when they're killing for a sentimental reason.
Yeah, I thought that like the story itself, like without spoilers, like was just like kind of serviceable. I don't know, like I thought Jamie Lee Curtis's stuff was like an interesting premise, but they didn't do a lot with it.
Yeah, they didn't. They like kind of dropped pieces of her background or like her story throughout the movie and like never fully addressed anything. Like it feels like they kept kind of like starting something and then like moving on from it and not like kind of making that a part of the plot.
Yeah, like the conceit of this thing is that like Jamie Lee Curtis is like the old crazy lady and she's like terrified of Michael Myers, but he's gonna come back and everybody's like, you're just crazy, he's not coming back. But
yeah, and that was the worst like thing throughout the whole movie to me, because one, not even aside from Jamie Lee Curtis, how like legendary she is to this series, I felt one, for her to come back and for them to make her storyline the crazy old lady was like borderline disrespectful to her character as a whole. But to kind of, I mean, literally the history of Michael Myers is justifiable. Like it's, you should be terrified of it. And the fact that the whole movie was based around everyone saying that like she had no reason to be like terrified of this was like made no sense. Because I get that you're ignoring like the plot of the previous movies, but the idea is still there. He's still a killer that has gotten out multiple times and will kill again, and everyone's like, nah.
Yeah, like Jamie Lee Curtis shows up, I think, aside from like the end of the movie, like I think she just kind of shows, she's almost like not even a supporting character hardly. Like,
oh my God, you're right.
It's like her granddaughter's character is like the focus, but it's just kind of like these lame teens walking around town for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then Michael like breaking out and like we see that sort of stuff. But I don't know, like Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't seem like the focus of this movie when I feel like she should have been.
She deserves to be the focus of this movie.
Exactly.
She was the main selling point for this movie. Like, it was like, Jamie Lee Curtis is back in Halloween. This is the big deal. And then you get to the movie and it's like, oh yeah, she's around. Like, she's around. She'll pop up, but genuinely. And if you're gonna do the teenage, like the group of teenage girls trope, at least make them interesting. This was the least interesting group of teenagers I've ever seen on screen.
And like then you had the one teen that was obviously like Danny McBride, like who would have been played by Danny McBride. He's like a stoner and he's like blowing up pumpkins with fireworks. But then like that's the thing, like right, like Jamie Lee Curtis is being billed as this thing. It's this huge return to form, and John Carpenter is. But then it just kind of fizzles out.
It fizzles so much. It's like they're trying. I feel like they got caught up in like trying to like appeal to like the general population with this movie instead of just like staying true to the series as a whole, and like also John Carpenter. I guess it's because, well, I mean, we would have no way of knowing how far his involvement went within the film because he didn't write it. He was just like kind of a consultant almost for it, and he also scored it. But I mean, like if it would have been like written and directed by him, this would have been a complete different film.
Yeah, like I can't think of the right way to like put it, but there's just it feels like it doesn't try to do anything interesting with it either, right? Like the Jamie Lee Curtis thing would be more interesting, but and you said like they make this to appeal to like a mass appeal, and like this is a Blumhouse movie now.
Yeah.
Like Jason Blum bought onto this thing. He bought it from I don't know who had the rights beforehand.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's kind of switched hands a couple times.
Yeah, and like I think this is better than what they did with the Rob Zombie stuff. Just from what I've seen of that, like that just seemed really mean-spirited and like not fun to watch. But like this is like total like, hey, if we could have made this PG-13, is this rated PG? No. It can't be.
It might.
Sounds like we're getting into like spoiler kind of stuff, but like before we get there, we could talk about like the technical aspects of this, like whether you thought this was like particularly well shot or what. Like I thought it was very creative the way they shot it. I think another thing, I can't stop saying this, I think they shot it to appeal to the mass audience. Like I think they're very specific in the way they shot it. I know one thing that stuck out to me. This was in the trailer, so no spoiler here. The opening scene is
like a wide view of the like the mental hospital that he's in, and like that opening scene was very well shot. It was very well shot. You can tell the budget was through the roof, especially looking at like the earlier films to now. You can definitely tell how much more they're like actually trying. But I don't think it was anything special. Like it was so much just like storyline to where like the way it was filmed didn't matter. Like maybe if there were more like slashing and like killing of people, then I'd be more concerned of how they shot things, because that's a more interesting way. But before, it was all like so storyline and like basic shots that it wasn't like anything I'd go and say was like really well done.
I feel like the only times they ever did anything truly like interesting with like the way it was shot or the way it looked was when they were doing callbacks to the original Halloween. You know, like there's the one gag they do where like, you know, it's a shot and that's an interesting, that's fun as a callback. But
well, this is the way it was shot, but they used the original like intro credits, like the font and everything. They used the original one from the original film, which they haven't used in a minute, and that was like very nostalgic to me. Like having the John Carpenter score and also the original font. That was a nice touch to it. I don't think literally anyone else got that. Like I for sure don't think that was anything that you could have noticed that like was a thing, but I really like that they added that like touch.
And like the John Carpenter score though, like I mean, aside from the Halloween theme, I don't think there's anything too recognizable. I haven't sat down and like actually listened to the score, but like I don't know.
No, I didn't think there was anything basing off Carpenter's previous work. I mean, I don't think besides the original theme, it was just kind of like, you know he did it, but it wasn't anything like signature, I'd like to say. I mean, he still did a good job. That's not to say he didn't do a good job, because Carpenter is amazing when it comes to scoring, but nothing to stand out in my opinion.
So we're gonna move into spoilers now, just so you know, it is spoiler time.
Though it's a predictable movie, you know. So if we're spoiling anything that you didn't already think was gonna happen, that's your own thing.
So now we can talk more, I guess, about the kills, like specifically and stuff like that. Like,
I believe his first kill was the reporters.
The
podcast people, which I was actually a little bit disappointed that didn't go on a bit longer.
I thought that was an interesting storyline.
Yeah, I thought that would have been really nice if they could have like carried that on, and it could have been more about them like invading everyone's life and like
going to see Jamie Lee Curtis.
I was a bit mad that it like literally so prematurely was just out, and because they introduced that's such a cool aspect, you know, of like having like these outside people trying to get the scoop on everything, because those two characters were like the only ones introducing the aspects of the actual storyline of Michael Myers.
And then you could have them like asking what happened on that night, right? Like,
because they were the only ones. Everything else was so like unspoken. Like it wasn't. No one was like referencing it. Even I don't know if you remember the lame teenagers.
Yeah,
they
the
were
lame teenagers.
like when I think one of her friends asked the granddaughter like, "Oh, wasn't your grandma like?" Didn't her like brother or something, wasn't he the one that killed all those babysitters? And she was like, no. And I was like, what? Like, why are we lying? Like, he literally, that's a fact. Like, look it up.
Yeah, and so like the kills just sort of become like just like stabs. Like there's nothing like, it's very
brutal. There's nothing
tame,
brutal about it.
You know? And
there's no chase.
Yeah. And it's just Michael Myers walking around town for the whole movie, like walking from home to home and just like, oh, there's a person here, let's kill him.
Yeah,
like,
there's no, like, I don't know. I almost want to say they, like, didn't give his character justice, but, like, his character's, like, not a character that is a character, but, like, he even deserved better than what they gave him.
Yeah, that's how I kind of felt, like, even as someone who's not a fan of this, I was just like, well, I mean, this deserved to be more of an, I don't know how well this movie did. I think it did good.
It did relatively well. It was... The time in which they like it released was just a very good time to release a film, especially of Halloween.
Oh yeah, it was out on Halloween.
Exactly. So they were gonna do well regardless, and they knew they were gonna. I think they knew they were gonna do well.
No matter what.
It was never about the money. This movie could have been literally whatever, but because it's Halloween and because you're releasing it on Halloween, everyone's gonna go see it.
What do you think of Judy Greer's character, the mom? She was just. I have this weird thing Hollywood does where they keep casting Judy Greer as like this just I'm just mom.
Yeah,
right? Like,
you're right. She hasn't had a substantial role in God knows how long. I have a personal bias against the whole idea that she even had a daughter.
Oh.
That whole concept just completely threw me off because it came out of left field for me. I was expecting, I don't know, it just completely came out of left field. And then the fact that like her daughter was so like, you're crazy, mom. I never liked her character. Her character did nothing for me.
And there's that really bad monologue where they're just standing on a sidewalk and she's like, I didn't tell you, like totally deadpan. It almost seemed like pickup shots or something where she's like, I didn't tell you how she raised me. Like totally, she taught me how to fight. She taught me how to use a gun.
All reasonable things. I don't like the whole movie's like trashing like Jamie Lee Curtis about like how she has behaved, but it's like so reasonable.
Yeah.
Like she was like brutally like attacked. Her friends all died because of her brother. Like her sister died because of her brother, and like you're mad because she taught you how to use a gun. Like it just doesn't seem like the whole basis of everyone's argument against Jamie like makes zero sense.
It's like revealed later on that like Michael's kept alive by his need to kill Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, that's like the only thing keeping him alive.
I thought it would have been way more interesting if it turned out she was just crazy. Like if you're gonna go with making her the crazy lady, make it so Michael Myers doesn't care about her. I thought that's where we were going with this. Like she was just gonna, like he was gonna show up and not care about her. Like
like if literally like imagine a scene where like she was existing like ready to shoot him and like he literally walked past her.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been amazing.
That's where I thought this was going, and then it turns into like, no, he's hunting you, he's looking for you specifically, and he's ready to kill you.
I also, this is like an unrelated thing. Do you remember the opening scene? I genuinely thought they were gonna show the actor's face.
Oh,
because they panned up so high, and they've never shown Michael's face underneath the mask, and they got like this close to doing it. And I've never wanted it to happen until this movie, because they were like literally like the shot was like this actor's like chin, and they were just like, nope. The ending.
Oh yeah, the ending. So, like, Jamie Lee Curtis and Judy Greer and lame teen granddaughter.
Yes.
The last lame teen to make it to the end. Because Michael Myers is walking around killing all these teens.
Correct.
And
killed all her friends.
Which I didn't really like feel bad about because I didn't like those characters.
I didn't like them either, and like they only existed to play the existing roles that the teens have played before. Like her friends, like two of them died like about before they were having sex, like the classic like the dying during sex and then like dying in pursuit of sex. It's always with sex. That's always how teens
slasher.
die. It's either in pursuit of sex, having sex, or after sex. There's no in between.
Every American teen death.
Yes, correct.
And like the only I think young character that I cared about making it to the end was the kid she was babysitting, who is just like roasting her for no reason.
We love the comical relief.
The comical
that's
relief
always like dashed in these films.
I mean, ever since like Stranger Things and stuff like, and it like being what it was, you know, like essentially a comedy. And so like you have to do that now.
You have to. And also, I can't even imagine, like, if they didn't have that, it would have been so dry. Like, it just would have, the movie just would have kept going and going and going with, like, nothing. It just would have kept going. But the ending.
Yeah, the ending.
So, it's the granddaughter, the mom, and the grandmother, Jamie and Judy, and I don't remember the granddaughter's name.
Whoever.
Basically, they're all fighting. They're not even fighting. They didn't even really have to. Jamie was the only one that had to like squabble, like with actual like Michael.
And that's where they do the cool shot of her falling off the balcony instead of Michael falling off the balcony.
Yes, correct.
That's fun.
I was really disappointed in the way that Michael died, because I feel like this whole movie was built up on Jamie getting revenge. Like she was like she had all these guns, she had all these tools, these skills now, and then the way she kills him is like locking him in something and like burning him.
And then at the end they have him like breathe.
And they're like the
credits.
Right before the credits, there's like him breathing.
And I feel like that kind of invalidates like
the whole movie.
Like if you do a Halloween 2 again, do you?
First of all, Jamie's too old.
Yeah.
She shouldn't come back. She should retire.
do you do another movie where she's the crazy lady again? Like what? Like
At this point, the granddaughter needs to be the crazy one. At this point, it needs to just keep spiraling and take Jamie out of this, because Jamie doesn't deserve to be put in another one of these films. She deserves better at this point. But like, how do you build up something that, like, the death of one person so much, and you don't even get the satisfaction of being the one to literally end their life? You get what I'm saying? Like, I thought they were gonna have, like, it was gonna be a very dramatic, beautifully shot one-on-one scene between Jamie and Michael, and it was gonna, like, she was gonna, like, talk to him or something, you know, and then she was gonna, like, take his head off or something. You know what I mean?
The whole movie, Jamie Lee Curtis, like, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. Like, and then everyone just kind of like agrees with her at the end, and then they lock him in a basement and they light him on fire. Like there's no no payoff.
There's no payoff. It's, you don't even get to watch him, like, not in like any sadistic way that, like, I want to see this, but it's just like, I feel like she wants to see this.
Yeah.
Like, and also her whole thing is also like, she needs to see him die. Like, or she needs to like she always, even when he was being transferred to a facility, she needs to like see him get on that bus. She needs to see him get there. And like, if you wanted to see that, you don't want to see him die.
Yeah.
But I will say, out of all this, the ending shot of the mother, the grandmother, and the daughter in the back of that pickup truck, like in the very end shot when they're all driving away after everything, and the granddaughter is like clutching the bloody knife in her head, that was a nice shot. It was a nice shot. Didn't pull at my heartstrings or anything,
Yeah.
which I think is what it was trying to do. But it was a nice shot, nonetheless. For a horror film, it was a nicely shot ending.
Yeah, we live in like a world where like everything gets rebooted and everything gets remade, like in like something like Star Wars or something, right? Like they'll put everything you know in there to make you be like, oh, this is the thing I love and I know. And I feel like, I don't know if they tried to do that with this movie, but it didn't land.
It didn't land at all. It didn't land. And I've been like, I've genuinely, like, after I watched it, like, I waited like a day or two, I like was searching the internet for articles. Like, I was like, who else? I know this didn't land. I know it didn't land.
But
who
everybody's
else
like, this movie rules.
Yeah, I'm so confused at like how people think this movie was good.
I mean, I don't think it was a terrible movie. I don't think it was serviceable.
I don't think it's terrible, but like I don't think it has any integrity as a film.
Yeah.
It has none of that. It serves its purpose. Like, here's what I'm saying: if it comes in HBO in about 3 months, I'll watch it.
I'll watch it again.
I'll watch it again. I will, and I won't watch it with shame.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'd watch this again. I mean, not because I think it was bad, but just because, I don't really have connection to this. So, like, even the things they did play didn't really play for me. That's
True.
my own fault. That's not really the fault of the movie, right? But also, like, I could just watch the original Halloween.
Yes.
Which is better. And
Or the Rob Zombie one, which people, that's like the most critically hated movie. But that is my favorite one out of the series, and I will defend that to my death.
Well,
I think it was very well directed.
well, that's what we think about Halloween.
Yeah.
So, maybe go watch it. I think that's
Or
kind of...
not.
Yeah, or not. Like, that's kind of the consensus here. Go
It's
watch...
like, don't pay for it.
yeah,
like,
go
don't-
watch Halloween again.
Yeah, watch it, don't pay for it.
Anyways, I think that's it for us. So, goodbye from Stubtown.